Good afternoon and welcome to Stadium MK for the Women's National League Championship playoff final between Nottingham Forest and Watford. After a gruelling 22-match season, both these teams have been crowned as champions of their respective divisions, North and South Premier Divisions at Tier 3, but only one of them can be promoted to Tier 2, the FA Barclays Championship, where they would be just one step away from the Women's Super League. The whole season comes down to this 90 minutes, plus extra time and penalties if required. I'm Chris Slager and I am delighted to say alongside me is a woman who is no stranger to the big occasion, someone who captained England to the final of a European Championship and who won 31 major trophies with Arsenal, including the Champions League, Faye White. Faye, thanks for joining me. How do you think these sets of players are going to be feeling as they prepare to take to the pitch?
Good afternoon, and I think they're going to be excited. Obviously the adrenaline pumping. They've played each other in the League Cup a few weeks ago at the end of April, so they'll know a little bit about each other, but ultimately I think pride that they have headed their title and their league, and that they've got themselves to this game, and what an occasion it will be. But yeah, certainly excited. There will be nerves, I'm sure, but it's about who can come out and perform to their best, take the game by the scruff of the neck, make something happen. And we hope that this is a game where they do both go for it. Not too cagey. I'm sure the first 5 minutes might be just sussing each other out, just looking at formations, etc. But yeah, go for it. It's an occasion where you need big players to step up.
As Faye mentions, these teams met in the WNL Cup final, the League Cup for teams at Tier 3 and Tier 4 just last month, and it was an absolute thriller, a 5-goal thriller, which Nottingham Forest won 3-2 after extra time. If we get anything like that again this afternoon, we are in for a treat. And Forest are looking to end an 11-year absence from Tier 2. Watford, of course, they're trying to bounce back at the first attempt. They were relegated on the very last day of last season in the final minutes, 7 minutes into added time, when Coventry hit the hammer blow. Molly Green's direct free kick winner, seeing Coventry leapfrog Watford and stay up, with Watford coming down. Well, Coventry are coming down this season, of course, aren't they? Commiserations to them. They are dropping out of the Championship. Will it be Watford in the yellow here, or Nottingham Forest in the red, who will be replacing them in the Women's Championship in 2023-2024 when it all kicks off in August? As Faye mentioned, there will be nerves among those players. So much tension that a whole season should come down to just one match. It is the very last Championship playoff final. From next season, both champions will be promoted to the Championship. Makes it doubly hard for whoever misses out today, I'm sure. Baroness Sue Campbell is coming to meet the players before kick-off. I guess at this moment, Faye, players just want to be getting started, don't they?
Yeah, you tend to. I remember having to obviously introduce each player, and I was petrified I would forget one of my teammates' name, just because of obviously you're thinking about the game, you're thinking about what you might say in the team huddle. Certainly I always was, and about what you want to do in the game. So these moments always a little bit just kind of feel the nerves in your calves growing a little bit. Sometimes I used to feel, but equally it's a chance to savour as well. When you're playing these big games, you want to try and savour it as well as be focused.
Yeah, real moments to savour. Great to see the fans here in number 2. Of course, it's a neutral venue. When they met in that League Cup final in April, it was at the Pirelli Stadium in Burton. And the Watford manager, Damon Lathrope, made the point this week that was a bit more of a home venue, really, for Forest, of course, being closer to them. This is very close to Watford. Local rivals, aren't they? MK Dons and Watford. And Watford did win here in the league against MK Dons 5-0, so maybe it's a lucky pitch for them, but there are fans in number from both clubs this afternoon. We will have to see if we do end up with extra time again. It was Watford who took the lead in that League Cup final. Took them just 2 minutes to go ahead in the League Cup final at the Pirelli Stadium. Forest came back into it and eventually won it in the added period. And we are now going to have the national anthem. So just moments from kickoff, and we can have a look at the team news. The Forest manager, Andy Cook, he has made one change to the final league game with May Moncaster out injured. So in comes former Doncaster Rovers Bells forward Yasmin Mosby. Up front, Charlotte Greengrass finished the regular season as the top scorer in Tier 3 with 22 in all competitions. And the Watford manager, Damon Lathrope, he has named an unchanged lineup. In midfield, the former England international Gemma Davison won 10 top-flight titles in her days with Arsenal, Chelsea and Liverpool. On the bench, a true legend of the game, Helen Ward, Wales's all-time record goal scorer, former Arsenal and Chelsea forward. And this is her very last game before retirement. She has announced she is hanging up her boots. The Watford club captain, everyone connected with Watford would love to see her end her stellar career on a high.
Number 7, Anne Rossiter. Number 8, Bianca Baptiste. Number 9, Gemma Davidson. Number 12, Ellie Head. Number 15, Andrea Georgiou. Number 17, and captain, Megan Chandler. Number 18...
Well, Faye, you played alongside Helen Ward at Arsenal. Such an occasion for her. Her experiences on the bench this afternoon. She's mainly been in that substitutes role this season. It would be a fairy tale for her whether she comes on or not, wouldn't it, if her club is to be promoted in her very last game.
Yeah, she's been such a servant for Watford, hasn't she? Obviously before she joined us at Arsenal, just for that season that I recall, but she was always known as a pedigree striker, someone that, you know, give them an opportunity in and around the box and she would put it away. But yeah, 37 now and getting towards the end of her career, but what a player to have on your bench should you need someone like that to come into the game.
The referee this afternoon, Louise Sanders, accompanied by assistants Laura Van Leer and Megan Wilson. And the fourth official, Kirsty Dowell, a name I'm sure followers of the WSL will recognise, has refereed the Women's FA Cup final last season. She joined the FIFA international list in 2020. Kirsty Dowell, the fourth official today. Louise Sanders, the referee in the middle. Big occasion for the officials too. Of course, we don't have the benefit at this level of VAR or goal line technology. It's all about what they see in the moment. Makes it extra tough for the officials at this level in a VAR era where everyone expects them to be officiating as if they do have that benefit, but they don't this afternoon. So Watford trying to bounce back to the Championship at the first attempt. Forest 11 years away from Tier 2. The captains, Megan Chandler. And of course, for Nottingham Forest, Lindsay Harkin, who has been with the club since she was 8 years old, save for a 6-year spell away at Doncaster Bell. She was part of the Forest team that got them promoted actually to the old Tier 1 back at the end of 2007-8. She did play in what was then the top flight for them. And for her too, a proper Forest fan, a season ticket holder, watches the men whenever she can. It would be a fairy tale to take them back into the elite threshold of the top 24 in English football. What would you be saying if you're a captain in the huddle right now, Faye?
Yeah, I was just seeing both teams have stayed in it for quite a while, haven't they? The referee's just blown a whistle, but yeah, it's just about making sure you take your chances, being confident, stepping up to the occasion, knowing and trusting yourselves as players in your own ability. And like I say, that you often need the players to perform, make good decisions on the field, and be confident, and impose your game, your style on your individual battles, on the opponent you're marking, but also as a collective, as units and as a team.
So both teams in their traditional colours. Forest in the Garibaldi red to the right of screen. Watford in their golden shirts and black shorts on the left of screen. Perfect playing surface in front of us. Andy Cook, the Forest manager, saying in the build-up his team play their regular home games on 3G. They train on 3G. He obviously switched the training to grass, and we are off and underway. Gemma Davison gets us underway, and it's immediately straight out towards Annie Rossiter down the right inside channel. But Forest have it back with the captain Harkin, who knocks it long into Watford territory. Georgiou to Sophie McLean, former Tottenham player. McLean on the ball again. Goes back to Chandler, the captain and number 17 in the heart of defence. And Domingo touches it out of play. Ali Polish to take the throw-in, a former Republic of Ireland international. Drops back to defence this season from her regular role in midfield, so she's enjoyed making that switch and has quickly got to grips with it. McLean bringing it forward. Picks up by Poppy Wilson, played in the WSL with Bristol City. Chandler back to her goalkeeper, Jackie Goldsmith.
Yeah, these first few moments always about just getting good control, good touch on the ball, good passing. Try and make the angles for your teammates just to get a good bit of possession.
Olivia Cook sprays one over the top, the number 5. No relation to the manager, Andy Cook, but she did join at the same time as him. She herself has called it a 4-year plan to get to this level, to get within 90 minutes of promotion to the Championship. That's what Andy Cook, the manager, the club's first full-time head coach, has been striving for since taking over. But Watford on the attack here, trying to find Baptiste. Scored twice in this very fixture for Tottenham, did Bianca Baptiste, the number 8. Back in 2017 when they beat Blackburn to be promoted to the Championship. And of course they are now a WSL club, although fighting for their lives in that division. If they don't win that battle, Watford could have something of a local derby next season if they were to go up. Of course, likewise for Nottingham Forest, with Leicester also battling to avoid relegation from the WSL. This is the very last Championship playoff final. There has been pressure from clubs, from fans, that it wasn't fair that 2 champions should have to play off for promotion, and it's great to see for the growth of the game that it will be 2 up, 2 down from the end of next season. Baptiste here trying to get across to the edge of the 6-yard box, but Harkin cuts it out. Well, a really good pullback that by Bianca Baptiste.
Yeah, it's always one of the hardest skills to kind of master at full pace, to be able to wrap your foot around it and get a good cross in. And as a defender, it's so hard when you get it in behind you and in between you and the keeper. And Nottingham Forest did well just to clear that. But yeah, a good bit of positive play by Baptiste.
Davison, who by this time in the League Cup final had given Watford the lead direct from a corner 2 minutes into that game, but as mentioned, Nottingham Forest came back to win it 3-2 on the afternoon. There don't appear to be too many nerves out there, actually. Both teams seem to have settled into it pretty well.
Yes, so actually Watford slightly more on the possession.
And headed through here. And the heavy first touch just takes it beyond her, but a good break from Watford. And a lovely pass into the path of Ellie Head. Signed on a dual agreement with Arsenal.
Yeah, good burst-in run from midfield there, but again, a great ball by Baptiste with her left foot this time. Just curled it right into her path, but it was that heavy touch, wasn't it, that just let Head down.
Yeah, she's the beneficiary of all that talent at the Arsenal Academy. Ellie Head, and a real close relationship between Watford and Arsenal. Of course, they train right next to us. I mean, literally right next to each other, either side of a fence, or Watford and Arsenal's training grounds. This Greengrass, the top scorer in Tier 3 with her first effort of the afternoon, but straight into the arms of Jackie Goldsmith. Just to say, neither team has a substitute keeper on the bench this afternoon. They're allowed to use all 5 of the named subs. We hope, obviously, that one wouldn't be needed, but in the event of an injury or a sending off, there are no substitute goalkeepers. Baptiste heads it beyond Ariana Daniels, the American, number 14 for Forest. Yeah, it's gone out for a Watford throw.
Baptiste already looks like that threatening player, doesn't she?
She really does. Quickly into her stride this afternoon. Myvalds, another former Tottenham player, the number 5 with the throw forward to Rossiter.
They brought Daniels in as a centre half to kind of perhaps, I think, try and resist that kind of pace and that threat from Baptiste down this right-hand side.
And Myvalds, he made a 50th Watford appearance earlier this season with the throw. But Forest collect it. It's brought forward by Steggles, who tries to get it through to Mosby, but a vital touch from Chandler. Back to Goldsmith. Georgie with the pass to Wilson. McLean back to Georgiou.
Yeah, Watford at the moment, when they regain possession, they are enjoying a few more kind of passages of play and touches and linking up play, just keeping the ball that little bit longer in their possession, whereas Nottingham Forest seem to try and get that decisive pass straight away. Obviously from Steggles there, it was just a little bit not quite right weight of pass.
Mayvalds with another throw. Yeah, Watford popping the ball around neatly and nicely. That's what their manager, Damon Lathrop, said he wanted them to do when he took charge in the summer. He stepped up from the academy in an assistant role towards the end of last season under Gifton Noel Williams, the manager, and then got the job full-time in the summer. Still only 33 years old. Former professional player in Leagues 1 and League 2 in the National League. And Watford managed to clear that one away before Anderson could get there, but Becky Anderson with the layoff to Greengrass. Anderson with 2 assists in the League Cup final between these two clubs last month. Former London Bees player, the Forest number 19. Knocks out to Hayley James on that right-hand flank, but Head just forces her back. Steggles tries to flick one over the top. It's headed on towards Mosby. Watford win it back with McLean, who's passed back. Had to be quick and had to be short. Luckily for her, it wasn't too heavy for Goldsmith to bring under control. Harkin with the header for Forest, but it's gone straight to Wilson. Anderson in the centre circle for Forest. What a season we've had in Tier 3. Both the Northern Premier and Southern Premier Division went to the final day with 3 teams still in with a chance of the title. Forest got it on goal difference from Wolves, finishing just ahead of Burnley, the pair of them. So cruel on Wolves, of course. We saw them lose this fixture, didn't we, last season, 1-0 to Southampton. They've missed out on being involved again on goal difference. And of course, this fixture won't even exist from next season. So really tough for Wolves to take. I'm sure they'll come again strong next season. Good luck to them. And Burnley, well done to them both for making it such an enthralling title race in the Northern Premier. And likewise in the Southern Premier, Watford weren't even top going into the final game. That was Oxford, but they lost to Ipswich, who themselves were in with a chance on the final day. But because of Watford's 3-0 win over Billericay, Watford took the title. Again, well done to Ipswich and Oxford for making that such an entertaining battle. I know it's no consolation to them to not be involved in this game, but it was brilliant for the neutral. And we are now down to this final fixture of the Women's National League season, still locked at 0-0 as we approach the 10-minute mark. The last time Watford played here against MK Dons, they were 3-0 up by this stage. And here comes a Forest attack with Mosby, gets a shot in, a really good save by Goldsmith. Well, it was a lovely layoff by Domingo into the path of Mosby. A perfect layoff. And she kept the shot low, but a really good save from Goldsmith, who flung her right boot out. She has been described as very strong in one-on-one situations, and I think we saw it there from the Watford goalkeeper. The first chance of note. Deep corner. Really good save, Faye.
Yeah, brilliant save. Just big strong foot, just as she needed. But yeah, a good bit of play, and it just opened up for Nottingham Forest, didn't it? And that great little pass just to disguise it into Mosby, and she did well, kept it down, but the keeper was equal to it. Again, Baptiste just winning the free kick here. Again, looks a threat, doesn't she? Very much a ball carrier, likes to get on it, likes to drive.
And Davison, who's going to take this free kick, can be absolutely deadly from them when it comes to picking out players from this far out, or a threat on goal when she's closer than this. Yeah, such a strong player.
She normally would like it if you take 20 yards closer, I'm sure, and she would love to have a strike on target, but it's about trying to pick someone out.
Has gone all the way through, and not quite her strength on that occasion. And harmlessly out for the goal kick to be taken by Emily Batty, former Doncaster Rovers Bells and Sheffield United goalkeeper, England youth player. Won the WNL Golden Glove this season for her numerous clean sheets. So Watford with the greater of the possession in this first 12 minutes or so, but Forest with the first real clear opportunity. That Mosby shot a couple of minutes ago.
Yeah, they look very much more direct, don't they, when they get the ball, looking to try and play that killer pass or get it forward. I would say playing the percentage pass sometimes, not securing the possession, but trying to just obviously turn Watford round or go direct and put the defence under pressure. And obviously they've got the first shot.
James with the throw here, a long one into the area, flicks on and off the Watford head, but the flag is up for offside. Watford breathe again.
They could have done with Greengrass just coming in around the back there after that flick on from that Watford head. She's playing out on this left-hand side.
Goldsmith to Chandler, who's put under pressure, and it's gone out for the throw, which is in Watford's favour.
It's two distinct styles already that Watford looking to play out from the back. Nottingham Forest more content with just playing it long. Certainly these opening 13 minutes from the keeper, or like I say, more direct, trying to get into their forwards' feet early.
Mayville's throw is given away straight to Greengrass, who knocks it over the top towards Mosby. Rossiter loses out to West. And the Forest captain Harkin goes back to Batty. James, lovely touch by her. West pings one over the top, but it's gone wide of her intended target and drifts behind for a Watford goal kick.
Yeah, I just think it's in moments like that, it's just about maybe just keeping the possession. Looks a little bit too anxious to get forward early and obviously give possession away. I think they haven't really strung a few passes in that midfield trio together, really. They're just looking more direct. And often it's handing the possession back to the opposing team.
A few cries of Forest. Forest go round the arena. Head tries to get onto this one for Watford, but Harkin's there to shepherd it out. Watford throw. Of course, it could be a huge day for Nottingham Forest Football Club. Their men's team in Premier League action at 5:30 this afternoon, home to Arsenal. If they were to win that, it would end Arsenal's title hopes. I'm sure, Faye, you don't want to see that happen. And it would make Manchester City the men's Premier League champions. It would almost certainly keep Forest in the Premier League too. Baptiste for Watford. Another low crossing cleared away by Daniels. So Forest men trying to avoid going into the Championship later this afternoon. Forest women trying to get there right now. And of course, highlights of that match on Match of the Day and all the other Premier League games today at 10:25 on BBC One tonight. Some fans I've heard are going to try and get to that game. Forest fans who are here, if it doesn't go to extra time, drive safely. Watford have it back. Mayvals to Chandler. Sprays it out to the left-hand side with Georgiou. Trey Georgiou knocks it over the top. Is unable to pick out. Rossiter goes low with the shots and wide of Batty's right-hand post.
Yeah, again, another good bit of possession, passing possession, a number of passes there to open up that opportunity. Rizzotti, just obviously you could see it, she was eyeing it up, that strike, doesn't really connect with it and just pulled it wide without troubling the keeper. But again, like the way they're playing, they're looking to try and make those passes work. Nottingham Forest. They just need to try and get a bit higher up the field, do it in the final third in those more danger areas.
Davison holds on to it well and tees it off to McLean, who plays a 1-2 with Head. McLean brings it inside of Steggles, who forces her out towards that far touchline. Deep cross to Wilson with the header! And Poppy Wilson heads it beyond Emily Batty to give Watford the lead. Well, it was a delicious deep cross from the left-hand flank. And Wilson timed her leap to perfection.
This is all about Gemma Davison and that ball. We were saying about her deliveries, but what a ball. And she just dropped off Poppy Wilson. She realised the weight and the kind of trajectory of that cross, and she did brilliantly just to direct it on goal. She didn't really have to put the power in it, but it just looped over the goalkeeper. And yeah, so hard sometimes just to keep composure when it's in the air that long and you can see it coming. She just stepped off her defender and made that bit of space and then almost just put it back over the keeper. What a great header. And I do feel Watford slightly better in the possession, and that's their real first attempt though, isn't it, on target, and they've scored.
Fine header from Poppy Wilson, and all about the ball from your former teammate Gemma Davison's been doing that for years, hasn't she? You won the Champions League with her at Arsenal back in 2007.
Yeah, she was brilliant at coming in off of that. She was so quick, and the skill that she had. Sometimes she didn't always fulfill the end and the quality of this after the run that she would make, but certainly that cross, that's why she's good when she plays out on that left. She can cut back in on her right foot. Often she likes to get the strike away. She certainly would when she was a young girl at Arsenal, and what a great ball. And as a forward or as a attacking midfielder, that's the type of ball you want into the box to be able to attack.
She is a woman who's won it all, Gemma Davison. The Champions League with Arsenal, 7 Premier League titles, 2 of them Super League titles, in fact, with Arsenal, 2 with Chelsea, 1 with Liverpool, And now looking to take Watford back to Tier 2. The perfect cross from Gemma Davison for Poppy Wilson to head home her 10th goal of the season in the league. Domingo trying to get through on the end of this one for Forest. And it's not the best clearance from Goldsmith, who slipped as she tried to hack it away. Watford, Forest looking to hit back straight away.
Yeah, Goldsmith's a little bit fortunate there, didn't quite adjust her feet quick enough to get a set for that clearance. But yeah, you're often most vulnerable after you've scored. With the adrenaline and that excitement of scoring, you just need to keep composed. But Nottingham Forest have been in this position in that cup final. Gemma Davison did take the lead for them, didn't she, from that corner? She swung in, but they fought back.
They certainly did. Forest have been behind, as Faye mentions, to Watford earlier this season in the League Cup final, but they came back to win 3-2 after extra time. They need to take heart from that.
You see there as well, Gemma Davison now on the right side. She often can wander.
Can just wreak havoc from either flank. Chandler finds Davison again. Long hanging ball out to the left-hand side where Head is on the charge, but James gets across there for Forest. And is she able to? Well, it's a Watford throw. James was unable to play it off Head in Forest's favour. Referee Louise Sanders awards the throw in to Watford.
Looks like a good little battle that will be. That's a couple of times now Head's burst down that left side, and James has equalled her pace and her strength to kind of shepherd her.
Wilson, the goal scorer. Head. Wilson again, heavily involved in this first quarter of the match. Head, low ball, trying to pick out Rossiter, but Harkin was there for Forest, and now it's with Greengrass. Oh, a lovely ball by Greengrass, through to Domingo. Domingo finds Mosby, plays a lovely 1-2, it's back with Domingo, and Goldsmith makes herself big. A fine save from the Watford goalkeeper. What an opportunity for Forest to bring themselves level.
Yeah, massive opportunity. They did really well to work it, but the just delaying of that shot allowed the defenders to kind of come back. But ultimately, another great save by Goldsmith, similar to that first one we saw in the first 5 minutes or so.
McLean, it was a got a touch for Watford as well. Corner towards Greengrass, but she can't bring it under control, and Daniels is tripped by Baptiste. And it will be a free kick to Forest.
Yeah, both players just really going full pelt to win that ball. Daniels did well to get her body in front, but just got her feet clipped and looked like she fell on the ball, landed on it, on her stomach, and she looks okay. Could sometimes be winded on occasions like that, but gives them an opportunity just to put this back in the danger area, keep the pressure on. But Watford just got undone there, didn't they? They kept exposed with just two at the back, 2-on-2, but a keeper came and what a save again.
Mosby with the free kick. She's been heavily involved in Forest's most dangerous moments this afternoon. Chance to deliver the set piece towards the far post. It's headed by a Watford head, in fact, into her own 6-yard box, but Watford managed to scramble it away. Good response by Forest to going behind. Chandler, the Watford captain, trying to marshal her defence. Ariana Daniels with the deep throw into the Watford area and headed behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, Watford just need to reset really, make sure they don't get exposed and leave 2-on-2 at the back again. when they commit players forward, or ultimately always prepared if you're going to lose. If they, you know, what next? I always just say, if you're going to lose possession, how are you set as a back two, back three?
Daniels back to Batty, finds Harkin. Anderson through the middle, it's gone all the way through to Goldsmith. He's been the busier of the two goalkeepers, but still has the clean sheet. Davison with the turn and tries to find Baptiste, is on the charge. Batty's there first though for Forest.
Yeah, right idea. Just Davison needs to just get that in between the penalty line and the far line here, just so the keeper can't come for it. As soon as it goes into the box, they're always going to come out. Just gives forward the better chance of getting on the end of that.
Wywell just manages to hold on to it under pressure from Greengrass. Cook. Back to Batty. Greengrass wins the header, drops into the path of Mosby, who leaps above Chandler, but it's back with McLean for Watford, finds Head. Inside to Georgiou, back to Goldsmith. Harkin wins the header, drops to Wilson, the goal scorer. Summer signing for Watford, Poppy Wilson, a regular with Bridgewater at this level last season. Made a senior debut for Bristol City when she was just 16 years old. Now 23, Poppy Wilson. Played in the WSL and the Continental Cup with Bristol City. Daniels is caught a little late by Baptiste. A free kick to Forest.
Again, that tussle simmering nicely down this left-hand side for Nottingham Forest with Daniels on Baptiste. Good physical match.
Daniels wins the header. Maywald will get there for Watford. Plays it inside to Chandler. Harkin wins it back for Forest. And it drops to Anderson. Lovely ball over the top, and will Domingo get there before Goldsmith? He punches it away. And I think she may have been caught by Domingo. The flag's gone up in Watford's favour. Don't think it was for offside, so I can only assume.
Yeah, no, not for offside, even though I think one of the Watford players had their hands up, but she was clearly onside, Dominguez, but it was more for the late challenge on the keeper. She did well to come out and punch that, but then just got kind of clattered.
Daniels wins it for Forest. Greengrass can hit them from here if she gets space, but wasn't quite given the space by Maywald, who did catch her, and it will be a free kick to Forest just outside the D.
Yeah, you could always see as she came in there, she was just trying to eye it up, wasn't she? Just get the space to be able to get a shot off. But she did get caught late just on that. It looked like a left ankle, but certainly a dangerous shooting position from this free kick.
What an opportunity for Forest. In the cup final, they did pull themselves level before half-time. The WNL Cup final at the Pirelli Stadium back in April. Watford led from the second minute, but it was a Greengrass goal 2 minutes before the break that pulled Forest level on that occasion. They went on to win 3-2 after extra time, hoping to get themselves on level terms before the half-hour mark here with a free kick in really dangerous position, which Becky Anderson, the former London Bees player, stands over.
Yeah, Watford need to make sure they line that wall up. They're trying to line it up, but the referees put the spray in completely different position. It's got her angle slightly wrong, but yeah.
8 goals already this season for Anderson. Is there to be a 9th here? Takes it towards that near post and half a yard wide. Goldsmith was leaping across her goal mouth. I think she had it covered.
She had a lot of space though, didn't she? She left her a lot of space to target. I could see that right side of the keeper where the wall was. She was trusting the wall would do her job, but she just dipped it over and it's just narrowly wide, unfortunately, for Nottingham Forest, but a good attempt.
Cook with the header for Forest. Almost got caught under Anderson's feet. In fact, it did, and that allows Watford to win it back with Wilson. Out to Baptiste, and she was caught, and she's a little upset with that. Poppy Wilson just managed to prevent herself overreacting to Anderson, to that challenge, but words have been exchanged between the pair, and I think Louise Sanders is just going to try and quell that and make sure it doesn't boil up to anything more. Just having a quick word with Anderson.
You could see Anderson nipping at her, wasn't she? She gave the ball away and then she was desperate trying to get back, holding her. I actually thought the referee was going to pull it back, but she tried to play advantage, and then she caught her as she released the ball, Poppy Wilson. So I can see why she was certainly annoyed, and she gets off with just being spoken to.
She does indeed. Maywald with the throw-in for Watford to Davison. Back with Maywald. Goldsmith picks out Davison. Tries to play in Baptiste, but Daniels will get there for Forest. Back to Batty. Giorgio wins the header for Watford. Greengrass over the top. Picks out Domingo, and Mosby is on the charge, but again, just a little bit too much on the pass.
Yeah, Goldsmith does well to come out, because I think Mosby just had the slight speed and cutting edge to get to that ball if she wasn't there, but she does well. She comes out, tidies up the danger.
Daniels gets there ahead of Davidson for Forest. Cook to Steggles. James has come inside from that right-hand flank. Back to the captain, Harkin. Amy West in space, brings it back towards Anderson, but not quite getting the angle right on that cutback. Good spell of pressure for Nottingham Forest though. Cook to Steggles. Harkin. Baptiste plays the 1-2 with Davison, but Daniels gets there for Forest. Cook. Back to Batty. James. Baptiste couldn't bring that under control. Still in Forest possession. Daniels on the overlap. Greengrass lays it short to Anderson, who plays the 1-2. Steggles with the low left-footed shot, and it's in the direction of Domingo. But Palish got there for Watford to knock it behind for the corner. Good defending by Ali Palish.
Yeah, but good little bit of link-up play by Nottingham Forest. And that's the type of ball that you don't want as a defender and you want as a striker. She just couldn't quite get there, could she, Dominguez? But she's starting to look a threat on that right side for Forest. Looks to cut in and join in as a striker as well, which is what you want from your wide players. But again, delivery of Greengrass looks like it could unlock this Watford defence.
Corner for Forest, hung up towards the penalty spot. Drops to Daniels, but only momentarily, and Rossiter hacks it away. Yeah, Sophie Domingo on the ball here, the former Derby player, their Young Player of the Year in 2020, an increasing influence on this game. Had 16 appearances in the Championship with Leicester, did Sophie Domingo, so she knows about playing at the level she's trying to lift Forest to this afternoon. So much at stake. We've become used to thinking about high stakes in the football world in monetary terms, but I think in purely sporting terms, the stakes are really higher than they are in a fixture such as this one between two league champions, but only one gets the right to go up. And Goldsmith is just receiving a little bit of treatment here, the Watford goalkeeper, so that is the opportunity for a drinks break for both sets of players and the respective coaches. Andy Cook in the Forest dugout and Damon Lathrope and his assistants in the Watford dugouts.
Yeah, I think it's good that now that this playoff won't kind of happen, will it, in the future, and that both teams get that right when you win your league. I think you should be able to, obviously, if you're second or third and you go into those, like obviously we see in the men's game, that extra playoff position, but I think when you're champions, to then have to go and play another game.
Yeah, I think that's the point that was made, and that's why in the end and credit goes to the Carol West, the WNL chair, and others who pushed that point home with the FA, that champions in most leagues in the world, in fact, do win the right to go up. So this playoff will happen for the last time today. From next season, both champions will go up to the Championship. The bottom two in the Championship will come down. Perhaps one day, if the women's game continues to grow, we might get a playoff between respective runners-up, which would be a great occasion. Maybe we're still a few years away from that. But what have you made of the growth of the women's game, to see two teams of this calibre in the third tier looking to push for Championship football? Yeah,
but it's just great to see, isn't it, that more clubs are backing their women's team and really helping them develop off the field as well. It's that structure that you need underneath and behind the team almost that allows you then to go up to the next level and compete. And obviously the game's getting more professional as it goes. Obviously WSL is, and fully, and then obviously it filters down. But these two teams have a good history in the women's game. I remember playing Nottingham Forest in friendlies at pre-season, and then obviously Watford, we've had League Cup group games that would have played against Watford. But two good teams that have always been up there, and obviously like Watford just dropped down last season, didn't they, out of the Championship, but they have that experience and probably suited to be able to cope with it next year too.
Yeah, Watford bouncing around a bit in recent times, coming down from the Championship on the final day of last season. They had come up the previous summer when they were awarded upward movement. That was the way of promoting teams after 2 seasons of COVID suspension at Tier 3 and below. They went up on the basis of their results, largely on the basis of their results over those 2 seasons for the games that were able to take place. But they were unable to stay up, came back down, now looking to bounce back at the very first attempt. Forest less used to life at Tier 2 level, out and below that level for 11 seasons now. It would be a huge occasion for the club to get back there, but they are a goal behind to Poppy Wilson's 18th minute header. It has been, though, a really good response by the East Midlanders, who have forced Jackie Goldsmith in the Watford goal into 2 fine saves since going behind.
Yeah, it shows their resilience, doesn't it? Their attitude to kind of fight that little bit harder. It wasn't obvious that Watford were, yes, they had better possession, but they hadn't had many chances. So to kind of score from that first real chance on target.
Davison on the ball now, who created that goal from the opposite flank. Didn't quite manage to keep it in as she laid it off to Baptiste, and it will be a Forest throw. Ariana Daniels, who joined in the summer of 2021, the American. Played university football with Temple Uni in Philadelphia and Winthrop Uni in South Carolina before heading to Forest. Anderson turns and off the outside of her boot tries to pick out Greengrass, but Mayveld will get there for Watford. Knocks it long towards Rossiter.
Yeah, good decision by Maywell. She could have maybe got mixed up with the keeper there, but decided to take control, turn out, and then plays a good ball up the wing too to clear the danger. Showing her experience there, the 28-year-old Mayveld on the throw-in here, former Arsenal, Chelsea, Tottenham player. Davison almost found room for the shot, but Cook got across. Now with Baptiste. Takes on Daniels and tries to play it in to the edge of the 6-yard box. Picks out Rossiter. Back to Baptiste. Towards the penalty spot where Wilson got the shot in. And it came off Cook, hopefully off her chest. There was a half-hearted appeal at one point, I think, for a handball. The arm was out, but I don't think it hit the arm. Wilson, lovely turn by Poppy Wilson, who pings one from distance, but it curls wide. Batty flung herself across the goal. She wasn't entirely sure. What a great bit of skill that was, a lovely little turn. And then the confidence to shoot from quite a range, but there, lovely little bit of turn just to lose a player, and see confidence after scoring, but that was not far away, was it, in that top right corner. Beautiful footwork from Poppy Wilson, earned herself the right to take that shot on from distance. She was in space, saw the opportunity, but just curled it beyond the upright. 4 minutes plus added time until the break. Watford lead 1-0. Greengrass tries to turn, but McLean gets the foot in. Daniels with the throw. It's gone beyond Mosby. Greengrass tries to get there. Watford clear. It's with Daniels once more. Anderson. Chandler hacks it clear. Steggles wins the header. Greengrass lays it off to West, who's strong in the challenge with Head, who's gone down, clutching her left knee. McLean wins the header back, drops to West, takes a shot on McLean's there again. Appeals for handball. Nothing given. Georgiou and Head between them, get it away. Good to see Head back on her feet. Looks to be in a little bit of pain for a couple of moments. I think there was a shout for a handball, but when it's that close and fired at you, I couldn't see it hitting that hand from up here. Chandler knocks it long. Davison is surging through the middle, but Cook gets it back to Batty, who shanked her clearance. And Daniels is now in a race with Rossiter. She's pushed in the back, and the free kick is rightly given to her. Daniels making the point that that's not the first time. It is from that player, but it's normally Baptiste, but you just don't need to do that. There's a forward, that's just so frustrating, I think, because you're allowing them almost a free get out of jail pass because you're giving them the free kick. Mosby tries to keep this in on Forest left, but it's gone out of play for the Watford throw. And Mayvell's throw-in did just about come in. I thought it was going to go straight out, but free kick given for the foul by Harkin on Davison. There's a slight nudge, I think, on the side, but Gemma Davison, I think, made full attempt of that to draw that foul. Just caught off balance, perhaps, give her the benefit of the doubt, but a little bit theatrical. She knows how to draw them. Using all her experience
16 caps for England, the last of them back in 2017. Former Champions League winner. 10 top-flight league titles in her name too, Gemma Davison. Chandler, the Watford captain, out towards Baptiste. Too heavy a touch and out for the Forest throw. Final minute of the half plus added time.
It's vital now for Watford just to keep hold of this, keep concentrating. I think it's they want to be going in at half-time with this lead. Forest are pushing back, aren't they?
They are pushing back. They did pull level just before the break in that League Cup final and went on to win. Oh, and Chandler just gets it back to Goldsmith. Greengrass tries to wait for Anderson to make that run through the middle. Had to delay the pass, but Steggles, a fine pass out to James, brings it inside of Palish and takes the shot on, or trying to drive a power across, perhaps across the goal mouth. 3 minutes of added time to play. Still time for Forest to take the teams in on level terms before the break. And they have responded really well to going behind. Rossiter for Watford. McLean. Maywell's clearance comes off Greengrass. He forces her back. Cries for handball against Cook. It deflected off her own body and onto her outstretched arm. Head won the ball and was caught late by Harkin.
Yeah, it's just a loose pass from the keeper and Larkin let it run, but quickly got pounced on by Head. And she just got taken out, just nicked.
I thought for a moment Louise Sanders was thinking about showing the yellow for the late challenge, but no card shown. Free kick to Watford.
You see Watford not committing too many players forward.
A minute and a half of added time remaining. Davison tries to pick out Wilson, just too much on it. That combination that created the goal and converted it in Wilson's case, almost coming to fruition again. Harkin picks out James, who tries to find Mosby with the back header. This time it's off the forehead in the direction of Mosby, but Chandler is there. Head for Watford. Has it again. Tries to find McLean, but it's given away. And now with Domingo, who's been a real live wire for Forest in this first half. Georgiou does well.
I think with Forest, it's more their threat is when Watford lose possession in those types of areas. They're quite quick to pounce on it and go direct. So I think that's one thing at half-time the Watford manager will be saying, let's cut that out.
It's come through to Greengrass. And will it drop for West? Steggles knocks one in from distance. That was never troubling Goldsmith. Could tell from the moment it left her boot that it was going well wide.
You could see that she tried to get a knee over it and keep it low and keep it down, which she achieved, but it's just the direction. It's always curling away. But she's played a couple of nice balls, hasn't she, out to that right wing on several occasions in this first half, so certainly has the range.
Referee Louise Sanders brings the first half to an end. It's been a free-flowing, entertaining first half at Stadium MK, and it is Watford who are 45 minutes away from promotion to the Barclays Women's Championship. They lead Nottingham Forest 1-0 at the break at Stadium MK, but Forest have responded really well to going behind, and they will take heart into the dressing room where Andy Cook will be handing out the instructions to try and plot a comeback, just like they managed in the League Cup final, albeit at that time they were on level terms at the break. Half-time here at Stadium MK. It's Nottingham Forest 0, Watford 1.
Louis then.
Welcome back to Stadium MK for the Women's National League Championship playoff final, where Watford are 45 minutes away from returning to Tier 2 at the first attempt. They lead Nottingham Forest by 1-0 as we prepare to kick off the second half, and we can just have a look back at the best moments from that first half. This was the goal. Gemma Davison, the former England international, with a deep hanging cross which Poppy Wilson headed beyond Emily Batty, former Bristol City player. Poppy Wilson, her 10th goal of the season. Forest responded well. Domingo forcing a fine save from Goldsmith, helped by McLean. Becky Anderson, a former London Bees player, with a free kick which went just wide of the upright. Wilson, the goal scorer, with a lovely turn and shot from distance which curled wide. And that's how we reach this stage, preparing to kick off the second half with Watford leading 1-0. Delighted to say alongside me this afternoon the former England captain, multiple trophy winner, Champions League winner with Arsenal, Faye White. Faye, what are you expecting in this second half?
Well, more of the same. I'm sure Forest will be, they've shown their resilience, haven't they, in the past, to come back, and they have already had those two brilliant chances which Goldsmith has denied them in that first half. So I'm sure they're quite direct, aren't they? They don't tend to play out from the back as much as what we've seen Watford do, but equally they've had just as many chances and have been a threat. So, you know, I think they'll push forward. It looks like they're playing their fullbacks a lot higher after they conceded that goal, just to try and put a bit more emphasis on their attacking play. And they've come out first, so they're raring to go, I'm sure, to turn this game around. And obviously they came back from that 1-0
deficit in the cup final, didn't they, against Watford, and went on to win it 3-2. Just a reminder, and for anyone just joining us, these two are already champions of their respective divisions. Nottingham Forest won the Northern Premier, only lost 2 games all season. Watford won the Southern Premier, only lost 3 games, but they have to play off for the one promotion spot to go up to the FA Barclays Women's Championship. It's the last time this match will take place. From next season, both champions will go up to the Championship and the bottom 2 will come down. But just the one promotion place on offer this season, as it has been for the last few years. And at the moment, it is in Watford's possession. If Forest can find an equaliser, we would have 30 minutes of extra time. We could potentially have penalties too. Watford hope it doesn't come to that. They have the advantage, a slender advantage. It was a fairly even first half though. Goldsmith, the Watford keeper, the busier of the two. 2 fine saves. But Watford with the all-important breakthrough. Potentially just 45 minutes of a grueling season remaining. They'll have each played 23 league games by the end of this one. And their cup games too. They went all the way in the WNL Cup to meet each other in the final. Both had FA Cup games to contend with as well. But it all comes down to the next 45 minutes, plus potentially extra time and penalties. Last season, the playoff finished 1-0. It was Southampton beating Wolves 1-0. Are we going to see a repeat of that scoreline? Forest hope not. No changes at the break. Watford unchanged from their final league fixture 2 weeks ago, a 3-0 win over Billericay. Forest making just a 1 enforced change with May Moncaster out injured, and in has come Yasmin Mosby, the former Leicester City player, and she was really lively in that first half. The number 7 out on this right-hand Forest flank, near side to the camera. Forest all in red on the left-hand side of the screen. Red shirts, white shorts rather, red socks. And Watford in their yellow shirts and black shorts. Won 5-0 here against MK Dons in the league at this very venue. MK Dons women play here The men, of course, had a difficult season, being relegated from League One. Forest get us underway in this second half. Domingo, the number 7. Mosby, the number 9. Both have had lively first halves. Forest looking to break when they can. Watford with the more controlled passing in that first period. Steggles picks it up for Forest. It's all the way back to Batty, former Doncaster Sheffield United goalkeeper. Pings it out towards Domingo, but Head gets her head to it. James for Forest. Harkin, the captain. Nottingham Forest season ticket holder, lifelong fan. Been at the club since she was 8. Part of the team that got promoted to Tier 1 back in 2007-8. Played in the top flight for Forest before the WSL era began in 2011. It would mean everything to her to lead her team back. Loves Nottingham through and through. She got married at Trent Bridge. Regularly watches the Panthers ice hockey team play. She's got Nottingham in her blood. It's almost Greengrass nipping through. 17 league goals. Charlotte Greengrass, 22 in all competitions. Daniels tries to find Anderson. McLean drives through the middle. She's momentarily dispossessed. It's given away to James. James strides forward. But Georgiou did really well to time her tackle to perfection. Forest win it back. Greengrass gives it away, and McLean smashes it clear. Davison over the top for Rossiter. The flag's gone up. I think that was the right decision, Faye. She just strayed off.
Yeah, she did. I could see it. You can see it clearly from up here. And Davison, it just took a little bit longer for her to get it out of her feet and get that ball. But you could see what she was certainly trying to do. And Rossiter peeled off the back shoulder really quickly, just too quick.
It's the other number 7 here. Domingo. James. Domingo finds James once more, who tries to knock it between McLean's legs. And it is a Forest corner to be taken by Harkin, the captain.
Very good situation there where right back's nice and high and really trying to make something happen.
Harkin short to Anderson towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Drops to West on the turn. It deflects off Head, and eventually Greengrass gets the shot in. Straight at Goldsmith.
Yeah, it's a bit of a tired shot, I'd say, by Greengrass there, but really good from Nottingham Forest to quickly be their team that will get into the drop downs quicker, keeping the pressure on and getting that attempt away, but just needs to be a bit more accurate and harder if they're going to really threaten the goal.
Davison, who created the first goal with that deep cross, wins the free kick for Watford. Damon Lathrop, the Watford head coach, his first season in charge. He was assistant at the end of last season in that battle to stay up, which went against them in the end. Coventry United staying up when they beat Watford on the final day. Coventry coming down this season, though, from the Championship. Commiserations to them. And at the moment, it's Watford changing direction with them. Forest have 40 minutes plus added time to try and change that. Perhaps extra time to follow, and penalties maybe at the end of it all. A long way from that, though. James with the throw-in, has been with Forest since 2020, formerly with Brislington and Loughborough in the WNL. Part of the Forest team that won the WNL Plate and County Cup last season. Didn't enter the County Cup this year, their reserves instead were in that tournament. The WN Plate is the secondary league cup. And this will go all the way through to Batty at WNL level. You have a determining round at the start of the competition. The losers of that game go into the WNL Plate. The winners go into the WNL Cup. Forest won the Plate last year, and they have talked openly, Lindsay Harkin, the captain, about how that was the spur on to their great success this season. They've already won the WNL Cup this season. They've won their title. They're looking for the treble. But Watford are standing in their way. They have the advantage. They have the lead. And Championship football is within Watford's grasp. Anderson, surging run, tries to pick out Daniels. Flag is up. And another Forest attack is halted in its tracks, but a really good start to the second half by the team who are trailing, Faye.
Yeah, getting better possession on the ball. Haven't really been able to penetrate the back line as yet, but certainly committing players forward. We saw James, the right back, getting higher up on the right recently. Just really not allowing Watford to get into their groove.
Davison, lovely ball through to Wilson, who didn't quite manage to get the direction on the pass to Rossiter, who does have that burst of pace. Joined last summer from London City Lionesses, actually scored a screamer of a goal against Watford for London City Lionesses last season. Annie Rossiter is with Baptiste now, former Crystal Palace and Tottenham player. Deep cross from her towards the head of Wilson. We've already seen the havoc her head can wreak, but it's dropped now to Davison, shoots from distance. James gets in the way for Forest. And Greengrass will bring this down. Plays the back heel, but straight out of play.
Yeah, good bit of play, almost a carbon copy, wasn't it? That as it dropped onto Poppy Wilson's head, it looked like she just couldn't get a clean header, could she? The defender did well to stop her. But great cross again by Baptiste from that right side. Certainly a threat is their delivering, their ability from wide areas.
Daniels with the long throw towards the halfway line. Steggles gets there for Forest and clatters it clear. Domingo gives chase. Goldsmith has come out. She's got most of those decisions right this afternoon, Goldsmith, as to when to come and collects. But Forest have it back with Greengrass. Plays in Domingos, who's got space here. Brings it back with the full 360 turn. It deflects off Mosby and wide of the post. What an opportunity for Nottingham Forest. I don't think Mosby realised it was going to drop to her.
Yeah, it looked like Greengrass had actually tried to pick out that far corner rather than cross it here. It just lays back by Domingo. I think she's trying to side foot it just at, and there it comes off the defender. It hits her, doesn't it? Just thought, is that going to creep in, but just wide.
I suppose she expected the Watford bodies to get there, but it crept through to her, and Mosby just couldn't get the shot on target. Baptiste for Watford tries to thread it through to Rossiter. James has it for Forest. James down the middle towards Mosby. McLean jumps with Mosby and just gets enough on it. Rossiter takes on Harkin in the centre circle and knocks it out to Baptiste on the right. Back inside to McLean.
I think that's one thing that Watford can improve is the service into Rossiter. She's a lot of the passes when she's been that target have not been good enough quality into her.
Wilson with a lovely pass out towards Head, who's in space on this left-hand flank. Takes on James and gets a shot in, but it's comfortable for Batty.
It looks like she was caught in two minds there, whether to cross it or shoot. I think she actually tried to cross it. It might have just nicked off the defender into the keeper's arms. But certainly I think she was looking to pick out one of her teammates in the penalty area.
Davison. She's got Rossiter through the middle ahead of her, but Davison takes it on and takes a shot on it. Flicks off of Harkin and out for a Watford corner.
Yeah, you can see Nottingham Forest know that that's likely to happen if she drives and tries to get it onto her right foot. That's twice now in this half that she's been blocked. And Harkin did well just to cover her and match her pace for pace and get that foot out to block the shot.
There'll be a relief to Forest. It was from the other corner that Davison scored directly when they met in the League Cup final. An in-swinger off her right boot. Can't do that from this side of the pitch, but she can still cause some problems with that lethal right boot. And then it comes towards Mayveld and just too high for her, almost dropped to Rossiter. Georgiou takes it beyond West, does really well, Dre Georgiou, but West manages to force her back to Palish. Palish, the former Republic of Ireland international, with the long pass, and Daniels didn't quite get it right, but managed to get there at the second attempt to knock it out of play.
Yeah, she does well to recover and just beat Gemma Davison to that. Got a clatter from Davison for it, but referee doesn't deem that to be a foul and throw into Watford.
Baptiste with the high hanging cross, which Batty can't gather. And Rossiter gets there, but only just, and slips as she got her touch on it. And Forest looked to break with Domingo, who's, well, Georgiou timed that to perfection, and she had to, because she was sliding in from distance, and had she got that wrong, she could have been in all sorts of trouble. Yeah, that could have been Domingo if she'd been caught.
Yeah, I think she knew she had to make that challenge, didn't she? And she timed it perfectly.
Davison on the charge for Watford, gets there ahead of Harkin. But Harkin gets the block in and finds James. James through the legs of Rossiter. Georgiou wins it back for the Hornets, and Wilson sprays it out to Baptiste in space on the right. Baptiste takes on Daniels. Still has it, Bianca Baptiste. Hit it too hard across the pitch and out for a Forest throw in. Well, she got herself into a really dangerous position, but the execution wasn't there on that occasion.
Yeah, it's really good play. She did all the hard work. She's done really well in the driving and the run, but just as she's crossing it, she just needs to take the foot off the pedal almost and just try and get her head up that second before and dink it in, or just pick out someone. But she was running full-blooded, and certainly the cross was as well, wasn't it? And way over everyone's head, but real shame. But look, it still looks a real threat.
Signed last summer, Bianca Baptiste only missed 2 games over the course of the previous 2 seasons with Crystal Palace. Got 14 goals in 2020-21, including being the top scorer in the Continental Cup that season, the League Cup for teams in the WSL and the Championship, which Watford at the moment will be playing in again next season, should they hold on to this 1-0 lead, or perhaps Forest will be playing in it for the first time if they go up, because they haven't been in the top 2 tiers since the restructure. Approaching the hour mark, do you think either manager might be thinking about making a change, Faye?
Yeah, I would say, if anything, Forest look a little bit more tired. I would say some, especially Greengrass has looked a bit tired over on that left. Couple of shots not got power or crosses that I'd expect, but I think sometimes that freshen up, that change, just that give the defenders different, might change team shape, or just give some, you know, like a defender, if it's a forward you're bringing on, just it gives them that challenge of that working out what that new player is going to bring into the game.
It has been a long, tiring season. This is the last game of it, and Georgiou again times her challenge to perfection on West, and actually wins the free kick for Watford.
I do think in the midfield, Watford are certainly on top in that 3, in that kind of central area. Georgiou's done really well in a few challenges, just disrupting the Forest players or play and winning that ball back.
Harkin with the header back to Batty. Davison wins the header, but it drops to West. Played in the WSL for Aston Villa, did Amy West, also in the Championship. She was Player of the Year in a Championship season for Villa, Amy West. And at the point of leaving, she was their longest serving player. Been with them since she was 9 years old in the youth setup and then through to the seniors in the 2014 season. But has been a Forest player since the summer of 2021. Rossiter tries to feed it through to Head, but Harkin is there for Forest, back to Batty. West wins the header for Forest to Domingo, who did really well to play it through to Greengrass, but she couldn't get beyond Palish, who was again strong in the tackle. And it's with Davison. Lovely footwork to get the better of James and finds Rossiter. Rossiter takes on Harkin, drives it across to that far post where Baptiste was surging in, but didn't quite have the power on the drilled low pass as she tried to pick out Baptiste. And Forest can clear, but it's going to drop to Head, who gets the shot away. Well, she's offside fractionally. She took it so well, Ellie Head. But the offside flag went up. And Ellie Head, who's here with Watford on a dual agreement from, well, the ironic cheers go up because the scoreboard had already gone to 2-0 in Watford's favour, and then had to cycle all the way through the figures. So at one point on the scoreboard, as we were seeing that replay, Watford were leading 10-0. It's a relief to Forest fans that is not the state of play here. We are back to 1-0. Ellie Head with a fine low half volley ruled out for a marginal offside.
Yeah, I think that must be real marginal because it didn't look really obvious. It just dropped to her. I don't think she could believe her luck, could she?
No, she took it so well. And as I mentioned, no VAR at this level, which to many is a relief. No chance for a second viewing, none of that waiting around to see if a goal will really stand. And we are going to see a change here, a Watford change, because Flo Fife, who celebrated her 25th birthday yesterday, former Oxford player, former Oxford striker, Flo Fife, coming on in place of Bianca Baptiste. With half an hour or so to make an impact here, Flo Fife.
Yeah, Baptiste had a real explosive game, hasn't she, down that? A lot of running, a lot of really taking her player on. Daniels, good match up between those two. But it looks like it's just straight for like swap. Let's see what Fife can produce on that right channel.
Flo Fife, twice an FA Youth Cup winner with Arsenal. It's been with Watford since 2021, previously with London City Lionesses and Oxford. And her first pass is a good one to Poppy Wilson, the goal scorer. Wilson does well to turn under pressure from Cook and Daniels. And Fife, those fresh legs can work to Watford's benefits here. She gets into the area, but Daniels does just enough as that goes behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, she does well, gets her body across and just doesn't allow Fife to get that half a yard, but good defending, shepherded it out.
Harkin, the Forest captain, back to Batty. Tries to find Domingo, but it drops to Head. Plays it short to Georgiou. She finds McLean. And out to Fife, the substitute. Takes on Daniels, has the beating of her. Daniels again just about does enough to get there, but Fife wins it back. Fife finds Rossiter out of space and blazes it over the bar. Well, that was a great opportunity for Annie Rossiter. 10 yards out, couldn't keep the shot down. Player of her quality knows she could have done better. Head in her hands.
Yeah, she's not had many opportunities herself, as she's been quite full of running and trying to work that line across the back line of the Notts Forest defence. But yeah, that's a great opportunity, wasn't it?
As the Watford drummer continues to drum the beat. Drumming to the beat of victory at the moment. Still a long way to go. 25 minutes plus added time for Watford to try and hold on to this lead. Domingo goes down, no free kick. The Forest bench are up in arms with that decision. They're claiming she was caught. Couldn't see it myself, but they are a lot closer to it than me, and they felt that should have been a free kick, and it has gone out of play. And Domingo can get some attention from the physio now in the shadows on this near side.
Yeah, they didn't look much in it, but she kicked her boot off of this as if to say, she caught me. Looked like she just kind of collapsed her own legs really and fell. Maybe she got caught on the back of the
manager,
foot.
Damon Lathrop, handing out the instructions to Ellie Head. Goldsmith, busy keeper in the first half. The Watford keeper, 2 fine saves, preserving the clean sheet so far this afternoon. Watford did only let in 17 goals in the league campaign. Forest only 18, 22 league game campaign. Great to see the fans here in their number. Great to see the two teams in their traditional colours too this afternoon. Those Red Forest fans in red have sung their hearts out all season. They've been so impressed with what they've seen from their team. And they're just hoping it doesn't all end in the heartbreak of playoff defeats. But as we approach the 3-quarter mark, it is Watford who lead this last championship playoff final. Last time there will be a playoff at this level, the 3rd tier of the English game, playing for the right to be a 2nd tier club in the FA Barclays Women's Championship, which kicks off in August. Bristol City, of course, won that division this season, going back to the WSL after 2 years away. Well done to them. We don't know yet which WSL team is coming down. Reading bottom at the moment. Leicester, Tottenham still in that battle as well. Brighton just about in it still, not yet completely safe. The winners here will be playing one of those WSL clubs in the Championship next season. Fife, the Watford substitute, tries to pick out Rossiter. It goes all the way through to Head. Now it's with Davison. Knocks one through the middle, but Cook does enough to put Rossiter off, and it rolls through to Batty.
Yeah, it does look like Watford might be more likely to score on kind of the way this second half has panned out so far. They're obviously getting balls and good possession in and around the half of Forest, but not over-committing players.
They do look slightly the fresher too, even though it is Forest who've had an extra week off, but maybe that's worked in Watford's favour, in fact. It's with Domingo. Plays it back to West, who drives it across goal and just wide. Well, Goldsmith leapt across her goal mouth, couldn't quite get a touch on it. And it was just inches wide of that far post.
Yeah, it's a good lay back, just the right weight of pass that allows West to just come on and strike it. It's just a little bit of lapse concentration by Watford to just not obviously pick her run up. But yeah, it wasn't far away, was it?
She hit it with real power, Amy West. Yeah, Forest have had 3 weeks off since their last league game. That 3-0 win against Stoke. Watford 2 weeks since beating Billericay 3-0 on the final day. And a tired effort again from Greengrass.
Yeah, she hasn't looked as threatening as she did in the first half. She just looks a little bit tired to me. A couple of the passes and shots just so far, the bits that she's been involved in this game.
Yeah,
long hard season, I know.
Long hard season.
And obviously she's their top scorer, isn't she? So she's the one that they do look for, and she gets involved in the game a lot more as well.
Yeah, she's been a threat all season. 17 league goals, 22 in all competitions, 34 goal involvements in 31 appearances in all competitions. Charlotte Greengrass, the Forest number 22. In fact, Andy Cook, the manager, making the point that every player has been involved in a goal this season. Here's one of them who's been involved in a fair few, Domingo. She's forced back on herself. It drops to James, who takes a shot on from distance, crashes off Chandler. Back to Domingo, plays it through to West, who had that shot moments ago. Whisks it out to Anderson, plays a short ball with Steggles trying to get on the end of it, but McLean read it and hacks it out of play.
It's better though, it's better possession, better build up, looking to get their shots off when they can, just been blocked, committing numbers forward a little bit more. Certainly not giving up.
Certainly not giving up. A flow 5 on the charge for Watford though. How a 2-goal cushion would help them in the final stages. Picks out Davison. The Forest defence gets across to close her down. Drops to the goal scorer Wilson. Out to Head, who had the ball in the back of the net, only to be disallowed for offside. Wilson with the shot, blocked by Steggles, comes back to Georgiou. Head. Knocks it short to Davison, flicks one over the top towards the penalty spot, headed away by Steggles. McLean will get there for Watford. McLean takes it on from distance and wide of the post.
You could see in that attack that Fife, the fresh legs, beat, I think it was Daniels, the recovering defender, well easy to the ball. She did well in picking out Davison, but it just took her too wide of the goal, didn't it, for a shot herself, and that's just the shot there coming in and just wide by McLean.
Yeah, never untroubling Batty too much there with that shot from McLean. Batty with the goal kick. Georgiou with the header for Watford, but straight out of play for the Forest throw. Davison takes on James. Tries to find Wilson, it's back with McLean. Out to Fife, who has looked really dangerous since coming on, and can she keep that in? Well, Daniels again does enough to force her out of play.
Yeah, she certainly shows a good attitude, looking to really take the defender on, isn't it, at pace, but just a little bit heavy touch when she just tried to open it up to get past Daniels and couldn't quite wrap her leg around it. I think she got slightly landed on by Daniels. Suffering a little bit, but again, Watford just edging, again, the possession and threatening Forest's goal. Just need to get themselves back into this.
Steggles with the header, and I think Andy Cook is thinking, the Forest manager, about a couple of changes. Just over a quarter of an hour plus added time to play. Couple of substitutes receiving instructions. I think one of them is Gianna Mitchell, who scored the winner in the League Cup final between these two. The American scored the winner 5 minutes from extra time with penalties looming in that match. And she is about to enter the fray, as is Niamh Reynolds. They're both getting ready to come on for Forest. Niamh Reynolds was part of the Reading setup in the WSL. Didn't actually play in the WSL, but was part of the squad on several match days. Niamh Reynolds, she's about to come on, as is Gianna Mitchell.
Forest just lost out on opportunity there. You could see the two players have gone over. Watford were very slow to react and played a short corner, but then that was poor by Anderson, lost possession. Needed to make better use of that if they're going to get themselves level.
And here come the Forest substitutions. Sophie Domingo departs. And Yasmin Mosby also going off for Niamh Reynolds. So Gianna Mitchell, the number 16, the American, comes on. And the number 12, Niamh Reynolds, also heading onto the pitch here as Domingo and Mosby depart. So Andy Cook trying to breathe fresh lungs and legs into his forward line.
Yeah, I think they needed it. They haven't looked as dynamic up front. I think Mosby was not been involved as much, I think, as they would like in the second half. Domingo's done quite well, isn't she, on the right, probing and trying to get deliveries in. Just need freshen it up.
Anderson finds Greengrass, tries to take it beyond Palish. Anderson once more finds Greengrass again, turns on the edge of the box and caught Palish on the follow through after dispatching the shot, and it is a Watford free kick. Yeah, perhaps surprising Andy Cook left those substitutions as long as he did. But I guess with the game so evenly poised, just a 1-goal deficit and the potential for extra time if they were to get level, it's getting that balance right between not changing things up too early.
Yeah, ultimately he knows his players, doesn't he, and knows if they look fatigued or not quite delivering on what he's instructed. But we've seen that Fife has offered some fresh legs on that right side, and Greengrass just switching over to the right side up front now.
Yeah, he certainly does know his players, Andy Cook. Great to see a team progressing year after year, as they have in the 4 seasons under him, the 4 years under him, to get to this level now where they are Northern Premier champions and in a playoff final. They've really built this team. Lindsay Harkin, the captain, also speaking about how much inspiration they took from the men winning promotion to the Premier League last season, wanting a taste of that themselves this time round with promotion. It might elude them, because at the moment it is Watford who have that sole promotion place in their grasp. But here are the two substitutes combining, but Reynolds' pass is too heavy. It forces Mitchell wide. But Mitchell will get there ahead of Maywald and plays it back to her former American Daniels. Cook to West, who appeals for the free kick and gets it against Georgiou.
Yeah, I think Georgiou felt she was fouled and almost hugged the ball as if to say, come on ref, give me a free kick.
And Georgiou is shown a yellow card, I think more for her reaction than for the foul. Yeah, Trey Georgiou goes into the book.
She just fell on the ball and felt she was fouled, and then ended up hugging it and giving, obviously, handballing it. So free kick goes against her. But again, good delivery here, could cause a real threat. Just needs to be floated in or driven in. Can they time the runs? Watford keeping quite a high line on that penalty box.
Forest free kick, hung towards the back post. Greengrass gets a head to it over the bar. It's a Watford goal kick. Yeah, you're right. Booked for picking the ball up, for trying to bring the game to a halt and get a free kick in her possession, but the handball meant she had to go into the book. And this is that deep cross, and Greengrass towering above the Watford defence.
Yeah, she always looked favourite, didn't she, to win that, but just can't direct it down. She had long enough to look for it, just a slight under pressure from the defender, but always favourite to win that and should do better. I think they've just got another foul for a kind of head injury for high foot.
Yeah, high foot on the far side has caught Liv Cook.
I think what Greengrass was annoyed with, though, is that the player was through down the middle.
Yeah, obviously no chance for refs to play an advantage when it's a head injury. No chances can be taken. But it is a free kick and another chance to put some pressure on that Watford goal.
Again, another good delivery, put this defence under pressure. Yeah, if they're going to make it tie, they have to do it now. Just the 9 minutes left.
Yeah, time is against Nottingham Forest now. Their dreams of a place in the Championship are fading. The ultimate prize is well within Watford's grasp.
And it all comes at this stage is down to game management and trying to disrupt or, you know, not take chances in around your own defensive third, clear these types of dangerous balls. Do everything you can, put your body on the line to get over that line.
Yeah, in the 6 Championship playoff finals to date, the team that has scored first has gone on to win 4 of them. And in fact, the Southern team has won 4 of them as well, so the stats in Watford's favour at this time, as Liv Cook continues to receive treatment on that far side. He is hoping she's okay. She is climbing back to her feet, so that's a good sign. And she will now have to leave the field. And she's sprinting off, so all looks good for Liv Cook. And she'll look to rejoin the fray as soon as she can.
So to say, strangely made to run all the way over to this side, but I think it's just to check for the fourth official that the blood stops so she can go back on.
Yeah, of course, injured players have to leave the pitch now by the nearest touchline, but in this incident with the medical staff having to check for no blood, it was much quicker for her to come off on this side. And this time the free kick goes towards Mitchell and it will drop to James. James tries to take it beyond Rossiter and Head, but in the end, Head gets there and wins the Watford free kick.
Yeah, she does well at just getting her leg in the way of James's tackle, but James I think he's had a good game. She always looks, you know, proactive, physical in her game as well to try and make something happen down this right side.
Yeah, she's a real fan's favourite, Hayley James, always in the thick of the action. Daniels back to Cook, but gets the pass all wrong and it's given away needlessly for a Watford throw. The Watford fans in really good voice now. Watford, we love you can be heard ringing around Stadium MK. The glory now within touching distance for them. Clean with the header, almost drops to Greengrass. Anderson to James. James with the cross towards the back post where Mitchell almost got there, but it's gone just beyond her. Mitchell picks it up though and comes back towards the corner of the area. Good tackle, halts her in her tracks. Deep cross in and James got her head to it. towering above Goldsmith, but couldn't direct the header, and it went harmlessly across the 6-yard box. Palish to Georgiou.
Yeah, Goldsmith looked like she had made her mind up to come for that, but I think she should have trusted her defenders.
Yeah, she hasn't got too many decisions wrong this afternoon, but she did on that occasion. She got away with it. Daniels got that all wrong, and it goes harmlessly behind for the Watford goal kick. And the Watford fans really trying to cheer their team on now through these final 5 minutes plus added time. Time against Forest now.
Yeah, you can see it's just not quite clicking for Forest up front. It's more percentage balls put into their forwards and just not able to get on the knockdowns. Obviously, West had that great strike, 15, 20 minutes ago, but a few loose balls put into the air to try and have the forwards attack, but just not been able to get on the end of it.
Harkin. Still Harkin. Head gets the block in on West. Drops to Georgiou. Looks to ping one over the top for Rossiter, but Cook is there for Forest. Knocks it out of play for the Watford throw. Is there to be a late Forest equaliser to push this into extra time, or are Watford going to hold on for this 1-0 win and a place in the Championship? It's a Watford throw.
Yeah, it's just about delaying time now, being sensible with their play, experienced players getting the ball, trying to, just make that clock tick away, keep possession. They can't score if you have the ball. But they look tired, didn't they, now, the pace of the games. And obviously Watford are just trying to make it a little bit stop-start anyway to disrupt Forest. Big occasion, big game, can take a lot out of your legs, just the whole adrenaline, the nerves beforehand.
Yeah, trying to hold it in the corner now.
That's good play.
Just hemming Forest in. Wilson, really good play by Poppy Wilson. Just won't let Forest get out of that corner. And in the end, the free kick goes against her.
Yeah, the referee deemed that she's more obstructing than actually attempting to play the ball there. But she's had a fine game, hasn't she? Not only for the goal, but for the energy and for her play, general all-round play in midfield.
Mitchell for Forest finds Reynolds. Reynolds tries to ride the challenge, but once more Georgiou has had a brilliant game in midfield. It's got so many of those tackles in, time to perfection.
She's been a real disruptor in there, isn't she, when they've lost the possession, to win it back, just to stop Forest on their forward adventures. Some of the time tackles have been done brilliantly.
So Forest about to make a change in these dying minutes, with Naomi Powell coming on for Liv Cook, who was down with that injury. Powell, another American, has come to England in the summer of 2021 to study at the University of Nottingham, having played for North Carolina State University. She grew up in the US, her dad grew up in Nottingham, her family still live around the corner from the City ground. Naomi Powell on for Liv Cook. With a minute plus added time to play.
Yeah, you wonder if they would revert to 3 at the back and push an extra body forward for her being a midfielder coming on. I think they have to. They've got nothing to lose now. You've got to go for it.
They have got to go for it. We're expecting around 5 minutes to be shown on the board. And there's still 30 seconds of normal time to play. So there is time for Forest, but not much of it. Davison, who created the goal way back in the 18th minute from the number 18, Poppy Wilson. A magnificent cross from Davison, a fine hanging header for Poppy Wilson's 10th goal of league action this season. Georgiou is there for Watford and strides into space now. Davison was calling for it. Georgiou hung on to it.
Yeah, it's clever play. Don't just concede possession. Keep the ball.
5 minutes confirmed. 5 minutes separating Watford from a place in the Championship. 5 minutes for Forest to try and force this Championship playoff final into extra time. And keep alive there. Dreams of a return to Tier 2 after an 11-year absence.
These final minutes could be so frustrating when your opponent is just disrupting the game, taking it into the corner, and when you know you have to win the ball back, you have to make something happen. You have to get the ball up high and into the opponent's final third early, and you just can't get it. It can be so frustrating.
And Watford preparing another change. The defender Emily Wallace is coming on for Annie Rossiter. So there's no time for sentiment as far as Damon Lathrope is concerned. As such of a farewell appearance for Helen Ward. I guess with a lead so slender, you can't show any room for sentiment. The substitution below us is Emily Wallace coming on for Annie Rossiter. I'm sure Helen Ward, ever the professional, doesn't mind that. She just wants to see her club promoted. Helen Ward among the subs this afternoon. Wales' all-time record goal scorer announced she is retiring from the game. She retired from Wales duty in March and announced earlier this week retiring from the game after this match. What a way it would be for her to bow out. She hasn't seen any action this afternoon. But the club where she has spent so much of her career, 2 spells here, on the verge of promotion back to the Championship.
Yeah, that substitution, it's take a forward off and put on a defensive-minded player and obviously just shore up the midfield defence.
The header by Greengrass almost dropped into the path of Mitchell. It's gone out of play for a Watford throw, to the frustration of James. Georgiou will take it. Two and a half minutes of added time remaining. The Watford fans trying to cheer their team over the finish line now. So close to the ultimate prize at this level of the game. But is there to be a late twist in the tail? Steggles with a long ball forward. McLean gets there with the header. Chandler, the captain, knocks it clear. Harkin, the Forest captain, gets there and brings it towards the halfway line. Picks out Mitchell, but she can't in fact because McLean is there, but it will drop to Daniels, who finds Mitchell. And Mitchell took it beyond Wallace, but only briefly because Wallace gets there to knock it out of play.
Yeah, I think Daniels is asking why she didn't get the foul because McLean did go in on her late, but I think the referee was trying to play advantage.
Steggles tries to feed it through to Anderson, but Watford get the vital foot in. And now look to bring it clear, but it's going to go back to Batty. Daniels over the top to Greengrass. And Greengrass is still onside, and Goldsmith's come out and she's caught Greengrass. And that will surely have to be a card of one colour. You'd imagine with the number of players back, it'll be a yellow. But Goldsmith's decision making has been largely good this afternoon, but she timed that wrong. Found herself stranded 10 yards outside her box, clattered into Greengrass. And the 2 defenders back prevent her from getting a red card. It's a yellow for the Watford goalkeeper.
Yeah, you can see clearly there was defenders covering, wasn't there? But a really rash decision. Could see her coming, thinking, no, stay back, there's no need, you've got defenders round. But ultimately, Watford were opened up there, and just that lack of concentration, that's where you need to keep it tight. Can't allow a straight ball down the middle to cause that kind of mayhem. And she's a little bit fortunate that her defenders were covering her, otherwise it could have been a very different colour.
And will there be a greater price to play? We're in added time at the end of added time. And Anderson, the set-piece specialist, stands over this free kick, dead of centre. A long way out, but a real chance, in it comes, but wide of the uprights. And that might just be Forest's last chance. There can be but seconds when Goldsmith gets the game back underway. Maybe a little bit more to be added for that incident which saw her booked. But Watford's so close now to the prize that they sought 23 long games ago, back when the season began.
Yeah, you could think when Watford have finished the season with 9 wins as well, coming into this game in the league, obviously on good form, and certainly on this occasion have been the team that just looked that most likely to be able to produce something.
And they have produced it. Watford are heading back to the Barclays Women's Championship after a season away. It is utter delight for Damien Lathrope, his first year in the job, and his coaching staff, for the fans all in yellow and black on that far side, and ultimately for the players who have taken Watford back to the level that they feel they belong, among the top 2 divisions of the women's game again. The joy is etched over all of their faces, and the fans in that stand as well. It's so cruel on Nottingham Forest. It is the champions of the Southern Premier who take the sole playoff place in what will be the final WNL Championship playoff. Makes it doubly hard on Nottingham Forest to miss out. Andy Cook and his players, I'm sure, will come again strong next season, but today it's all about Watford.
Yeah, you have to feel for Forest to win your league, to then still not go up and have to produce on one day. It's, you know, obviously not going to have to happen again, but it was a, you know, nice tight game. Could have gone either way. They've had chances. 2 great saves in the first half by Goldsmith wasn't there to deny Forest, but ultimately it just looked like Watford had enough, had a bit more energy, didn't they? Certainly in that second period, in that second half, to see the game out.
And do you sense perhaps better equipped to stay in the division next season? Last time round it only lasted a year, they came straight back down, but...
I do think so. I think, yeah, you're looking on the kind of fitness levels a little bit in that game, and just generally the way they play as well, the way they look to play out and keep the ball. Forest were a little bit more direct, certainly in that first period. Played more in the second half, even though they, you know, had to push forward and try and get the ball forward earlier. But I think with Watford, the experience of having been there in more recent times, and with the game going professional and stepping up another level, even the championships and WSL, each year on year it gets stronger, better, the players get fitter. I think it's just well deserved. Maybe that less bit of travelling as well, a little bit closer to this occasion as opposed to the cup game, which was closer to Forest. But on the balance, it's worked 1-1, wasn't it, really, in the big playoff games, in those one cup final kind of games, if you want to call them that.
Yeah, Forest won the League Cup final between these 2 teams a month ago. Watford, though, have won the golden ticket. The Golden Girls have won the golden ticket, a promotion back to the championship. As the presentation hoardings are assembled on the pitch in front of us, the Forest fans commiserating their players, but they rise as one, those fans in red. They are so proud of what they've seen from their team this season. Just 2 defeats in the league, a title win in the Northern Premier, and defeat by the slenderest of margins in this playoff final today. They gave their all. They perhaps had slightly the better of the first half, despite the fact they found themselves a goal behind at the break. In the end, it just wasn't to be for them. It just wasn't to be their day. They will have to go again with the long, hard slog next season. But for Watford, a team huddle of joy, a team huddle of ecstasy. All of that hard work has paid off. All those training sessions, all those 90-minute battles and more in the cup ties on the pitch. It all came down to this, and the prize is Watford's, and they will celebrate long into the night. You can see the joy etched all over their faces as we are champions. We are the champions blazes around Stadium MK. They have kept fighting to the end. They were made to fight to the end. They took the lead in the 18th minute. They were unable to add to it as Forest pushed and took it to the wire. But Watford have the sole promotion ticket, and now they look to greet their fans who cheer in unison what they have seen this afternoon. The dance of delight, championship playoff winners. That's what Watford are.
Yeah, it's the best feeling after a hard-fought 90 minutes to have that moment as a group when you're in that huddle, the words that you say and just the feeling. These are the moments you want to remember and you work for, really. These are the ones, all those nights training and those hours of putting yourself through it, getting yourself up, motivated, and obviously just enjoying it with the fans as well, with your family members who would, I'm sure, be out over there as well in that crowd.
They were founding members of WSL2 when the second elite division was added in 2014. They actually had 8 consecutive seasons in Tier 2, lapping back into the pre-WSL2 era before that latest restructure came ahead of 2018-19 when they were unable to obtain a license for what became the championship. And the flag is run through by Ali Palish, who is now leading those Watford fans. She is the flag bearer, and Megan Chandler, I think, has gone to grab perhaps another flag from the fans.
An impressive turn of pace, considering she's just, been in crunching tackles and worked hard for 90 minutes. But that's the extra bit of adrenaline, and you could run all day when you know you've won. And
we are going up, chant the fans. They have spent the majority of the last decade in Tier 2. They regard that at least as their rightful level, the top 2 divisions of the game. They had slightly the stronger foundations to build on, given that and their recent history, as opposed to Forest, who are very much a work in progress. And I'm sure for Forest, better days do lie ahead. But they've had to start from a lower base, really, in the women's game. Nottingham Forest. I see Watford players slowly return to this side of the pitch where the presentation will take place. Helen Ward is actually out of shot, but right in front of us, beckoning up to the fans on this near side. The club captain, the club legend, is going to finish her football career, a career that saw her become Wales' all-time record scorer. She's shaking hands there with Megan Chandler, who wore the captain's armband for much of this season. I wonder if they will lift the trophy together. We'll see what happens with that. Flo Fife made a real impact when she came on, the number 21, the sub. Watford were already ahead at that point, but she used all her pace, and Nouse out on that right inside channel to continually put the Forest defence under pressure. Watford deserved winners, though, Faye, you feel, on the day?
Yeah, I think so. I think they just had a bit more control over the 90 minutes in periods. Yes, they obviously need big players standing up at big moments, like Goldsmith, who made 2 incredible saves in the first half to keep her team in it, really. But yeah, I just think they're a little bit more energy, a bit more control in that midfield.
Carol West, the chair of the WNL, and Baroness Sue Campbell, Director of Women's Football at the FA, will hand out the medals and present the trophy as the Watford players again greet the fans on this near side.
Yeah, this will be where their friends and family are, just below us.
Friends and family who will be so, so proud of what those Golden Girls have achieved this season and this afternoon. That's the trophy that will be lifted and find its way to the Watford trophy cabinet. But it is more than just a trophy, of course. It is more than just a cup final, because it is a whole season of football that they have won at a higher level. The Championship, they'll be playing the likes of former Champions League semi-finalist Birmingham City next season. They might have a London/Hearts derby against Tottenham if they were to lose their battle against relegation. A Northern London Hertfordshire derby, not too much geographically between those teams. Tottenham obviously fighting to stay in the WSL and avoid the Championship, as are Leicester, as are Reading and Brighton. But Watford are heading up in that direction to a higher level. A level they have earned the right to play at. As the officials come forward to collect their medals. Louise Sanders, the referee, had a good game this afternoon, got the big calls right. Laura Van Leer, Megan Wilson, the assistant referees, and Kirsty Dow, the 4th official, collect their medals from Carol West, the chair of the WNL.
This afternoon, Watford's number 15,
Andrea Giorgio gets the Player of the Match award. Didn't she have a fine game, Faye, in the centre of the park?
Yeah, she was good about everything that Watford produced as far as tackles, breaking up the game, especially in that second half when it's so vital to try and disrupt the play and the pattern of play that Forest were trying to achieve. She worked run all day, good in her passing range as well. And
she's played in the Championship with Coventry before. She's taken Watford back there. And Lindsay Harkin, the Forest captain, collects the runners-up plaque for her team. A disappointing afternoon for her, but it can't detract too much from a fine, fine season. Herself a club legend with the club since she was 9 years old. Nottingham Forest, the runners-up, but Watford, the winners, and their head coach, Damien Lathrope, leads the team forward to collect his medal first. Then comes the Player of the Match, Andrea Giorgio. Bianca Baptiste, promoted with Tottenham in 2017 from this game, twice a goal scorer that day. Flo Fife, the impact sub. Gemma Davison with the delightful cross that's set up. Poppy Wilson here, the goal scorer. WSL experience she has with Bristol City. Annie Rossiter, a real live wire. Ellie Head had the ball in the back of the net, disallowed for offside. But each and every one of these Watford players gave their all this afternoon. Faye Bruff, a recent signing. Japan forward, didn't make it onto the pitch, but she's had an impact since signing. Megan Chandler, the captain on the day. And the coaching staff coming forward to collect their medals too. So much for them to be proud of. A season's hard work paying off. And here is Helen Ward. What a moment for her. She has played a real part this season. Top scorer, 11 goals in the league, 18 in all competitions. And her final act of a stellar football career will be to lift that trophy with Megan Chandler, I suspect. Helen Ward, the club captain, Chandler, the captain today, and for many of the games this season. What a way for Helen Ward to say goodbye to the game. The Wales record goal scorer, Watford women's record goal scorer. And now, as a parting gift before she hangs up her boots, she can lift the trophy to crown Watford as the WNL Championship playoff winners. It has been a golden day for the Golden Girls. Those players, that team, have shone brightly this afternoon. And after 1 year away, Watford are back where they feel they belong, among the top 24 in women's football. Congratulations to Watford. Your final thoughts, Faye?
Yeah, no, I think thoroughly deserved. Really close contest, but just that little bit like the better quality, better control of the game. And obviously that moment, it was a great moment, wasn't it? That cross and, you know, beautiful header from Wilson to put it in the back of the net. But ultimately, yeah, there's some players that I've played with and played against, a couple of them, Gemma Dayson, Helen Ward, and yeah, it's good to see them obviously on the latter stage of their careers now and hanging up their boots with Helen Ward. But certainly, I think Watford maybe have the structure as well just to compete a little bit in their championships, and hopefully they'll be able to stay up next year.
Ellie Head raising the trophy. Emily Wallace, who came on as a substitute. And Helen Ward carrying the trophy now across to the far side. And the trophy will be raised again in front of the Watford fans. And a loud cheer goes up from that far side. They will party long into the night. The end of season awards take place at Stadium MK later for the whole of the WNL. So much to celebrate. It's been a magnificent season, an enthralling season. Congratulations to Watford, who are the WNL Championship playoff final winners. They are heading back to the Championship after a season away. Commiserations to Nottingham Forest. Let's hope they can go again strong next season. Thank you to Faye White, the former England captain, for joining me this afternoon. Hope you've enjoyed the occasion. Commiserations to Nottingham Forest. Congratulations to Watford. It finished Nottingham Forest 0, Watford 1. The Golden Girls are going back to the Championship. Goodbye.